Good evening. Time for first weather. The snow is heavy and it arrived just a little ahead of schedule in a few areas. Very heavy snow across Madison into Limestone County. We've already had some reports of as much as 5 inches of snow down here towards Coleman and Hartselle. This snow is going to continue for the rest of the night. Snow falling also to the eastern part of the valley near Scottsboro. Albertville roads are deteriorating very quickly. If you don't have to be on the roads tonight, please stay off of them and stay home. That is the best advice.
Now with Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis, it is accumulating quickly,
Fast.
Brad.
And we have the potential for more tonight. We could see what's called thunder snow, and that's one thing we're watching out. That's when you have lightning and thunder and snowflakes about the size of silver dollars falling, and that part of the storm system still hasn't got here yet. There has been some of that thunder snow back to the west into Texas earlier today, so we're going to monitor that throughout the night. If we get that, we could see 4 inches of snow in an hour. So it's really going to start to pile up. And here's what we're expecting right now, Kim. About 6 to 10 inches of snow for many areas. A lot of these areas, if you're right in the middle of this line, say Decatur, Huntsville, Scottsboro, and the higher elevations of Jackson County, DeKalb County, Marshall County, even Montesano, you stand a better chance of seeing 10 inches of snow. And there's some areas, if we do get that thunder snow I mentioned earlier, could get over a foot of snow. As we go to live Doppler 48 radar, I also want to remind you we are streaming and we'll be streaming online throughout the night at WAFF.com. You notice these huge areas of orange and yellow. This is where there is heavy snow, and at times it is mixing with sleet and Arctic air on the way. Right now, temperatures at or below freezing in most areas. Moulton is at 33. Same story in Russellville. Here's a look at our next frontal system. The cold front arrives. A winter storm moves to the north and east. But as we watch this next cold front, behind it, those lows will get into the teens over the next couple of nights. And there is some snow out here. They've had about 2 to 6 inches of snow across northeast Kansas, expecting the same into central Missouri. As that drops east-southeast, here's a look at Pinpoint Predictor by 6 o'clock this evening. Really not seeing a whole lot going on around here. So we'll go ahead and move the time frame up here to 9 o'clock. Still the possibility of just a little bit of mist or drizzle out there. But as the next storm system approaches by midnight tonight, we will start to see the possibility of some snow flurries over here across the Florence, Pulaski area down towards Russellville. County-wide in Madison County, the threat is going to be extreme southeastern Morgan County right now. Let's go ahead and go over to another source of information, the Doppler 48 network. I want to see what else is going on around the area. Brian, maybe you can maneuver that around for me a little bit. I want to continue to watch. Here's our storm here along 247 southwest of Florence. If you're in Florence, see if we can get up that alpha camera out there out of the shoals, and we'll get another view of what's going on the backside of that storm. But you need to be seeking shelter right now in Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, possible to people now at the threat of a significant tornado. And we had feared this since last night with these storms moving in. This is big. The power is going to be going out. Again, if you're listening to us on the radio, we are on 103.9 WUMP, the UMP. Tornado warning continues. We're picking up very strong rotation near Capshaw, and we've got a tornado reported on the ground. This is a wedge tornado with a large debris field. So when we talk about that, it is picking up. It is tearing up homes right now as it moves across western Madison County, and this will continue towards Meridianville. So the threat is not over by a long shot. It'll right along 565. So while the last tornado we were tracking has now moved to the north and is threatening Meridianville, Hazel Green, you need to stay in your shelter there. This is the second tornado warning. And there's another tornado back here to the west towards Moulton. In Moulton, you need to stay in your shelter. Trinity, stay in your shelter. This is an extremely active day of violent weather. Madison, 506, Huntsville, 516, Chase, around 519. So tornadoes up here were completely wrapped in rain. And that's why we had a more favorable environment for tornadoes, because what we call that level of convection was a little bit lower. So everything was wrapped in rain, very difficult to spot. But image here on the Doppler 48 network, what I've plotted here, these are the reported tornadoes reported to the National Weather Service. Some of these will be reported twice, but these are areas that reported seeing tornadoes over the past 24 hours. And as we zoom in, we get in closer. You can just see the number of tornadoes. Many of these tracking from south of Russellville into the Huntsville metro area and up into Madison County. Another favorable track today was from Coleman through Arab. I can't even remember the number of times we mentioned a storm with a tornado moving from Coleman to Arab. And then the tornado up here into Limestone County. as you get up here towards the Harvest Monrovia area. And in fact, this was a tornado long before it got there. Here's what we were looking at. We knew we were looking at a big, dangerous tornado. This was about at least a half a mile wide. We'll find out from the official storm report. This was from our Alpha camera network out of Limestone County. Probably the last time this camera is going to pick up a tornado. It wiped out the tornado, wiped out the Doppler radar, live Doppler 48 radar, which we've had out there for over about 15 years now, was wiped out. And this camera is on the tower with live Doppler 48. And as we were watching this move in, we could see it just completely moving towards, everything was wrapping around. Knew we had a large violent tornado. If you were in this house watching television and we were saying you need to get to the lowest floor, this is the lowest floor, and we also tell you to get to the smallest interior room that you can, perhaps a bathroom or maybe a closet. Let's check out the bathroom of this house here, and then we're going to show you some of the other rooms. Right in here is the bathroom, and as we look in here, you can see everything here is completely intact, even the ceiling. So a well-protected room here. And the reason we tell you about these smaller rooms is because they can handle heavier weight on the top of the home. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this interior closet down here. There's a lot of debris out here. There's a lot of damage in these other rooms. But as we take a closer look into the closet, barely can get it open now, but you can see, had they used this closet as a shelter, they got a lot of blankets in there, but this would have been a safe room. Now to the unsafe room, where your kids might be sleeping. Take a look at this bedroom here. What do you guys think of that? That is amazing. Okay. We've got all of this debris that has flown around in this room. And the structure itself didn't collapse into this room, but this one, it did. So could you imagine in the middle of the night, if you don't have a weather radio, you don't have a way to get weather information, a tree crashes on top of your house from a tornado, and you're trying to sleep, and all of a sudden that exterior wall breaks down and the tree falls on your house. So that is why we tell you to get into those interior rooms. So as we go back out, we're going to show you the outside of this home. You've seen the inside, and you can see why they're going to have to demolish this house. There's insulation everywhere, the boards, and eventually the houses that get water like this, eventually there's really no way to salvage it because it's going to be full of mold. Here's the entryway, and you can see up here the skylight the tree has made. This is a very large oak tree that is on top of this house. So it's just amazing that there were no injuries in this neighborhood. And again, one of those is probably because nobody was home in these areas. But as we come out the front porch, you look off to the left and you see the branches at the top of this tree. And we're just going to continue to come out here and then show you a look back at this house. As we go out here into the front yard and we look back, a massive oak tree. In fact, it looks like 2 oak trees perhaps fell on top of this house. And one look back, I know we're going to be looking into the sun just a bit, but this is a very large tree. So you can see just a large tree in the back of your house, how much damage that tree can do. So it looks like in this case, the bathroom and that interior closet were the safest place in this house.
It's nothing like seeing it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we say it all the time, we tell people, but when you actually go and you show how that one little closet.
It just reinforces it when we're on the air. It's like we know what we're talking about. We know if you're in that interior room, it's going to be the safest place in the house. Now, some of this video you see of these potential EF4, EF5 tornadoes, it's a different animal. But fortunately around here, we're not always faced with these types of storms. We're faced with the lower end type tornadoes. And the biggest threat we've had up to yesterday has typically been the trees on homes. And that's exactly what this is. Or the trees on the mobile homes. And that's why you've got to get out of those mobile homes, because this house is barely supporting this large tree. If this would have hit a mobile home, it would have crushed it completely in half.
Catastrophe.
Very
Absolutely.
good advice.
Thank you, Brad. Let's go now to